maybe just slow down a little bit.
Okay, but you saw a lot. So let's discuss. So just your thought was of how do you want to? You're going to be doing the reading here. So how do you want to do that? And I would like you to really try to teach it as if you were teaching, the person you were before you read this. You know what I mean? Teach it.
Right.
Let's see what you could do. You want me to read any part of it? I could, or you could just start with the blurbs and the blurbalach, and then go into. I like to read like we're on page Nun Bet, according to me. No, I'm in the wrong place. Wait, Nun.
Dalet, I think.
Nun Dalet. Could that be?
I have my marker by Chaf Aleph in the tip.
Okay, so that was my mistake. Well, I had you. That was Doctor. That was somebody. Okay, I see it. Yeah, it always sounds okay. So why don't you get started and let's see what you could do. Teach our audience. We have a little audience, a little audience.
Okay. So we're in Chaf Aleph. We'll read the blurb first. So Yispar Sheba Olam HaAkudim Ze'er V'Nuk G'dolim Mi Avo V'Ima B'zeh Sheyesh Lahem Kol Eres Pnimiyim U'Makifim. So we will discuss now the idea that the Olomis of Zer V'Nuk, which I think is the Tiferes and the Malchus, they're more complete at this point where we're holding in the Shar HaAkudim. They have more shlemos because they have already all the Eres HaPnimiyim and the two Makifim, and I guess the question is really why is that, and the other Olomis of Av V'Ima are really missing them. So Chaf Aleph, V'Hine Kan Ba'Olam HaAkudim Hayu Zer V'Nuk Gedolim Al Abba V'Ima. At this point in the Olam HaAkudim, the Zer V'Nuk are more b'shlemos than Abba V'Ima. Ki Zer V'Nuk Hayu Panim B'Fanim V'Abba V'Ima Achar B'Achar. So I wasn't sure exactly what he meant with these words. I didn't read the tiv part of it, so.
Okay, no, that's fine. Okay, so.
Amidas HaOlamais, yeah.
Yes.
Seder Amidas HaOlamais HaKlal Hu. In general, in a general sense, the klal always is going to be she'ab v'ima him tamid l'malam madrigas zer v'nuk. So Abba and Ima are in general sense are going to be higher than zer v'nuk, which are lower. Even the Abba hu chachma ubina hu bina, the zer v'nuk came as aymidas hatachtoine. So the chachma and the bina are at the top. They're in the meichen, and the zer v'nuk are the lower 7 midas, so they're going to be on a lower madriga. However, at this point, they're more complete than Abba V'Ima ki Zer V'Nuk. Oimdim panim b'fanim, the Abba V'Ima adayin oimdim achar b'achar. Chaf Beis, v'ha'inyan hu, and the explanation of that is.
So just let me. What you say, we pronounce this ach ba'ach.
Ach ba'ach. Okay.
Yeah, there's some what do you say? A euphemism, or that's not the wrong word. Just to try not to say the word achar. Exactly. They don't like to say that word.
Okay. So achbach. Okay. That makes sense. Chapez. V'inyan hu ki zer v'nuk hishlimu kol tzarcham hitzrich kol tzarcham hatzarach lohem. They already reached like everything what they're looking for, I guess. Shehu chamisha aris pnimim u'shnei makifim. Kodim sheyachzru l'salis matzilam. Before they go back into the Peh D'AK, they're already reaching the complete level of all Pnimiyim and Makifim, what they have been, I guess, trying to get. They already have all the 7 Bechinas, which are the 5 Eres Pnimiyim, even before they even start moving back up towards the Peh D'AK. That causes that they have a great, bigger light. We'll talk about what is panim, but they basically have their complete deck of cards. Whereas Masha'en Kain Chaf Gimel, Masha'en Kain Ba'Abba V'Ima Ki Adayin Lo Hayu Shleimim, they are not yet reached their level of Shleimus. Sharei La'Abba Lo Hayu Rak Shloisha Pnimiyim. So the Chachma only has 3 Eres Pnimiyim Levad. So he's missing 2 Eres Pnimiyim Uvli Makif, and also missing 2 Eres of Makifim. Ima. And with regard to Ima, Chamisha Eres Pnimiyim Levad, it only has the 5 Eres Pnimiyim, Uvalisha Makif without any Makif. Okay, light print. Partzufe Abba V'Ima, Adayin Lo Nishlamu, B'chol b'chinoi sehem. They have not yet reached their levels of shleimus. Koidim chazarosam lepeh d'ak. Meaning they haven't yet gone to the Peh D'AK, but they're gonna, return or be chayzer to the Peh D'AK before they've reached shleimus with their ARIs. Ki abba chasar le'arba chalokim. The Abba is missing 4 sections or portions. Shari hayuloi rak gimel b'chinas naran pnimiyim. It only has 3 bechinas of the nefesh ruach neshama that are the ARIs of pnimiyim. V'adayin haychaser beis ARIs pnimiyim. T'chayev yichida. V'chein haychaser beis ARIs makifim. And so too, it's missing the 2 ARIs of the makifim. Ve'ima chaser shnei ARIs makifim, just the 2 makifim. V'hayula rak naran pnimiyim. It only has the 5 ARIs of pnimiyim. Nimsa shezer v'nok ma'ulim yoyser me'av ve'ima. So they're more b'shleimus because they have rule 7. Even before any sefirah would, go back to the matzel, so additionally, meaning, so the reason, I guess, he hasn't really said the reason why, but he's saying that the fact is that the zervinuk have the 7 already all 7 of the ARIs, which that's gives this idea that they're certain tzarech hazivog, which I'm not sure what that means, but he discussed it, I think.
Yeah, he didn't really discuss zivug at all.
Right.
But there's a concept here that we're going to learn as we go on, that there's a concept of ach ba'ach, which you can't make if they're back to back, that they can't make a yichud, but when they're panim to panim, they can. So apparently you have to have all these lights available in order to be able to become panim b'panim. So that's just a general idea. Okay, let's go on.
That's what we say when we mean tzarech hazivog.
Yeah.
There's another reason why, or I should say another cause, that in how zervinuk are better than avim. Zervinuk kodim shasfiras ischilu lachzar al matzel, before they're returning, before they're going to return to the matzel, hanu kodim she'olah hakesef b'chazar al Peh D'AK. Kvar hoy ru'uyim liyichud. Kivan shel delashneim, because both of them zervinuk kvar hoy b'chinas chaya ha'pnimius shehi neged chachma v'ru'uyim lamed panim b'panim mashaloi hoy b'shar partzufim kodim shechazru l'matzilam. So the other 2, the avim, are not able to be panim. They're only ach ba'ach, so therefore they're not able to do yichud. But these, the zervinuk, are, because they're already in panim b'panim. I guess that sounds like that's a result of. I mean, he says here that that's a result. Kivan delashneim kvar hoya b'chinas chaya.
Chaya, which is chachma. So he says that before
I thought you really need the makifim as well.
I'm not saying that you don't, but at least if you have the aspect of chaya, then it's possible to make a yichud. So he said, Kevin to the shnechem, where it says, where the shnechem, gvar choya b'chinas chaya, they already have that, habenimim, shechoyim neged chachma, ru'uyim la'amud panim b'panim. They're fit. It doesn't say they do, it's that they're fit at that point. That's just a little point that we may going to pick it up later and see it in someplace else too.
Right. Okay. Now, just a quick question. The Ima also has the Bechina of Chaya, but not the Abba.
Okay. So Abba is the Bechina of Chaya. So let's see what it means. I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm sure exactly what you're saying is she got the level of Chaya. She's gotten to that level, and she's Roi, therefore to Yichud, but Abba doesn't have that. So I'm not sure what that means yet. So let's see.
The idea of zivog comes from the meichin, which is from chachma down. What does that mean here? What's in the parentheses?
So it says ksiv yad. It says the lezun. It says instead of the zer anpen, it includes both of them. Zochav and no.
Got it. Right. Okay. So kvar hoya lezun b'chinas chachma shehi chaya hapnimis kaidim she'olah hakesef b'matzel shehu harishon shechazar kaidim kulam. The Keter was the one that went up first.
Right.
So the Zervinuk had its Bechinas Chachma before, meaning, I guess, before the Keter went back into the Peh D'AK, to the matzel. Ba'atam shezun hay ru'uyim lezivog yoser min shar partzufim. The reason why they are really lezivog more than the others partzufim, the avimam b'nei shar partzufim einam yicholim lesyached kodim shiyu behem meichin mechachmu l'mata. Because the partzufim do not able to or cannot do a yichud before they have the madrega of meichin from chachma and on and down. Ki tipas hayichud imsheches min hameichin l'chachma. Because the drop, the tipas hayichud, I'm not sure exactly what that means, comes from chachma.
Okay.
Do
you want an explanation of that? You want it just?
Yeah. Yes, please.
So basically, it would be the same thing in a human being. So without the gray matter, let's say the tipa that come from the male, you can't reproduce the female. In the case later on, we're going to see that the male, actually all that's his aspects are going to go inside of the female, and that's the concept, once again, male and female, that is, Bina becomes a receptacle for Chochmah. But Chochmah is going to get the Chochmah, the Chaya, the Chochmah, at the end. So once he gets it, it's possible for them to make a Yichud, which you will already have that. So it's the Chochmah is like the seed. Just like the same thing in a human being.
Okay. Once they have the bechina of chaya, shehi bechinas chachma, then they become roi lezivog. Okay, v'hine kodim she'ol hakeser el matzel. Before the v'hine kodim she'ol hakeser el matzel, before the keser goes back up to the matzel, for her le zer anpin bechinas chaya. The Ze'er Ampin, I think this is what he was referring to before when he says Zer V'nuk. Ki hari bi'arnu sheb'shasha yatsa ha'keser lo yatsa el b'chinas nefesh b'vad. It only came out b'chinas nefesh, u'v'tziyasa nitaisef l'chachma b'chinas ruach, right? They added on the levels going downwards, like the light bar mushal.
Right.
U'levina nitaisef b'chinas neshama, u'zer Ampin nitaisef b'chinas chaya, u'malchus nitaisef b'chinas yechida. That's where they were in their resting place?
Yeah, b'moshvam. They were in their place. Nothing's moving. Everything came out. Keser is out. And everything is out. They're there.
Right. Terem sha'keser chazer lalois el ha'matzal, before it returned to the matzal. Shezeh ha'keser hu ha'oila rishain Peh D'AK. So that was a result of the fact that as each one of them came out, it was nitaisif of bechina to the ones underneath it, and then Keser was the last one, which only had the bechinas nefesh. Okay, chavav. Even though Malchus has is greater at this point than that which is above it. There's no worry. I'm not sure what the worry would be.
Okay, let's see.
The Abba is missing the bechina of chaya even after it returns to the Peh D'AK.
After the Keter goes back, right.
Right. So, okay, so the Torah explains this. When the Keter came out of the Peh D'AK, nitaiso b'zer anpen b'chinas chaya, u'malchus nitaiso b'chinas yechida. B'nimtzal fiza sha'malchus da Akudim, the malchus of the olam ha'akudim, yeser gedelu mu'ula mizer anpen, because it already was shalem. Ki kodim aliyas ha'keser l'Peh D'AK, kvar neskalo, b'malchus b'chinas yechida. Be'ilu l'zer anpen, the madriga above malchus, it only had one less madriga. So at that point, how would we say that it would be roy lezivog?
Okay, let's see what's he talking about.
It didn't have the chaya, but not the yechida.
Okay.
So lezem mevar harav possess zer ampen v'nuk einon shavin. This that they're not equal, that does not prevent the yichud from happening. Kivan shel shnehem ein l'zer ampin v'hein l'nuk yesh bechinas chaya. They both have the bechina of chaya. L'tzarech hayichud dai bechinas chaya hapnimis shehi meichen lechachma. Really, it only needs that. It doesn't need any more than that. So once the fact that the Zer Anpin has the bechinas chaya, so then it's good.
Right.
That's now royal zivug. L'tzarech hayichud. L'tzarech hayichud dai bechinas chaya hapnimis shehi meichen lechachma. L'fikach, and therefore him.
Did you say lefichach? Did you say lefichach already? Or you said that?
I just read it.
Okay. Aval Abba, go ahead.
Aval Abba shehu Siras Chachma kishamad b'makom hakeser koidim she'ol Peh D'AK. The Abba that's b'makom hakeser as it's moving upwards. Loi hayo loi b'chinas chaya. It doesn't get the b'chinas chaya. Rak b'chinas neshama. Lefikach loi hayo yachol lehisyachet amima, because it's missing that aspect of chaya. V'hagam shekoidim alias ima lePeh D'AK. Even though after the ima goes up to the Peh D'AK, kvar hayu la oz kol chamishas b'chinas naranchi. In kol zeh, still ba'isei shah kvar haya Abba b'Peh D'AK. The Abba already is in the Peh D'AK. I guess the things inside the Peh D'AK do not connect or are not misyached with the things that are outside. And that's why what turns out is that the Abba and Ima and the Olam HaAkudim are not really misyached. The Hainu she'ein b'neihem yichud ki haya chaser es b'chinas hachaya hanal. Really, the Abba is chaser the b'chinas hachaya. L'chein. They are more higher up, or I'm not sure exactly how do you translate mu'ulim?
I'd say maybe they're higher quality, or like you said it right. But I mean, mu'ulim, they have a higher quality, or they're higher in that sense, and they're more shalom.
Right. Okay. Okay. So I'm going to read the blurb on the top.
Oh, yeah, we're up here. Okay, let's go up there. Let's get to that. Yes.
Yispar based hamim lama alu zervinuk bechazar lePeh D'AK af shekvar nishlamu b'chol eresehem. So another question that he's coming to address. So the first question that we addressed in the previous paragraph was that the zervinuk are gedolim or mu'ulim. They're on a higher level than Abba v'Ima, which is not based, the general structure would not be that way. Now he's going to address a different question. So why go back to the Peh D'AK at all if they already have shlemos in their oros?
Good point. Yeah.
Which I think I asked you this question. Okay. V'im Tomer Chavzayin. V'im Tomer Imkain Lama Alu Zer V'nuk B'Matzilam. Why go back at all? If the point was to get the 7 eros, 5 pnimim and 2 akifim, so then why return to the Peh D'AK at all? Yesh lahakshis dalik kvar nisbar shekol inyan chazaras hasiris lePeh D'AK. This inyan of the chazaras hasiris of the Peh hu b'chdei lehishtalim b'bechinas shahoyu chaseris mehem. We had discussed that idea was because to acquire that which was missing. Once they have everything they need. Why are they going back at all?
Right.
So Hatshuva is that. What's the answer to this? The chiyus of the Zer V'nuk comes from Abba D'Ima. So the Zer V'nuk are like the children of Abba D'Ima, and they don't like to separate from them. So if they see the Abba V'Ima going back, then they want to return to connect with the Abba V'Ima as well. So they go back, so to speak, to follow them and to connect with them. The chiyus of Zer V'nuk comes from Abba V'Ima. That's why they're connected to Abba V'Ima. They don't want to separate from Abba V'Ima. Because the Abba V'Ima return to the Peh D'AK, they turn around to go back in that direction. Although they're not intending, or nothing new is going to happen with them. And this is one of the reasons why they return. So they return just because they're really connected with the Abba V'Ima. So if the Abba V'Ima return, they return also, even though they already have some Madriga of Shlemos. Okay. And another reason is what we said earlier in Parak Beis, Ki Iker HaChazara Hoya Lasis B'chinas Kelim. There's a second, reason or second hope, like they're trying to create something by doing this, by returning to the Peh D'AK, to create the B'chinas Kelim. And that's why when he says kavanasai, he means like the kavanah of the matzah of Hashem.
Yeah.
Right. So meaning Hashem designed it in this way that they should leave the Peh D'AK chaserim, kedei sheyir lohem cheshek la'aleis l'kabel, so they should know they should go back to want to go back to Mekabel, v'az yasu akelim, and that's how the kelim will happen, or that's how they'll come into being. And that's another reason why they return. Now, I had a question on this that I have been thinking of where I read it. Maybe I'll answer the question, but I'll ask it anyway. So the question is that it's almost as if to say that when they were created chaserim, right? We said that they were missing something. They were missing their oros. So when the Ze'er V'Nuk left the Peh D'AK, it's almost like Hashem intended that they should return, even though, like, immediately after they left the Peh D'AK, even though they were going to get their oros, the original mission plan was that they should return anyway.
Okay. That they were, because other than that you're going to have, like you said at the beginning, that you're going to have the Kalim and the Oros are going to be equal. That was that idea, right? Okay, there's something else going on that he's talking about, and this is like we're really looking at the foundation of the universe according to the ARI, and so therefore he's bringing in this idea about Chochmah, about Chaya, that you have to have this aspect in order to make a yichud, but nobody's talking about yichud. But he dropped that in there anyway. And to tell you that even at the early stage where yichud is going to take place later on, or between Abba V'Ima, and then different things are going to happen, he's not talking about that. But he dropped it in anyway.
Right. Okay.
Okay, that's very good. So let's go on.
Let's read the light print of Chavtes.
Right.
Yesh Eid Tam, so he's going to explain the idea of the creation of the Kalim. Yesh Eid Tam Levar, Lama Ola Hazer V'Nuk LePeh D'AK. So there's another reason why the Zer V'Nuk are returning to the Peh D'AK. Hagam Shehim Lohev Chaserim Shum B'china. Even though they're not missing anything, the Eres HaPnim and Eres HaMakifim, they have it all. V'hu, and the reason is, Harei Mataras Chazaras HaEres LePeh D'AK, the mission or the goal of returning to the Peh D'AK, Hu Shekadesha Shebeshas Aliyas HaEres Hazakim L'Malo, when the more refined Eres go upwards, Mispardim HaEres Hagasim, the thicker, more like massive or more thicker Eres stay behind, Va'avim, the Nisharim Lamata, they stay down below. Mehem, and through that, Nishave HaKelim, that's how the Kelim come into being. Ulchein, Kozman Sha'or Hazach, Nishar Lamata, as long as the refined light stays lower at the lower ear place outside of the Peh D'AK, L'or Ha'av Einenu Nikar Levada. You don't see only the thick air. Kihu Batal L'or Hazach Umuduvak Betachlos. It's Batal to the more refined light is much brighter, and it sounds like they're connected very strongly, and therefore you can't really perceive the thicker or Machmas Kain. Because of that, Yasu Kol Asuras Chaseres. So all the suras come out of the Peh D'AK chaser, missing something. Kedei shehem yisavu lalois lamalo l'hishtalim. So they should all return above to become full, to become complete. V'yidei zeh yisavu kelim. Through that process comes the kelim. Mishum kach gam hazer v'nuk shelo yehu chaserim shum b'chinas. Even though they're not missing any b'chinas, im kol zeh im hutzich lalois l'Peh D'AK. They still need to return to the Peh D'AK. B'chdei she'oreis ha'avim shalahem, so that their thick lights yisharu l'mata, they should stay below. V'yisavu kelim, and thereby creating the kelim. Ach imheim hayu nisharim l'mata. If they would state remain behind below. Although they would be in a very high place, they would not create any kalim. Because again, like he said, that you need to separate the hagas from the hazach in order to get a creation of kalim.
Okay. All right, so we're back at the number Aleph on another parak.
Now, I just want to ask a question.
Yeah. He
said a line there that because Hashem wanted that the kalim should be created by this separation of the hazach and the ha'av, he said that yatsu kol hasfiros chaseros. That's why all of the sfiros left missing something.
Right. They all come out as a nefesh. Okay. What's that question?
So I guess the question is like the sfiros as they leave the Peh D'AK, even though they're chaserim, I mean, wouldn't the thinking be that if they could get what they need outside of the Peh D'AK, then they would have no longer any reason to return to the Peh D'AK?
Yeah, that was his kasha that he said that. Why does Zun go back?
So I mean, so really they're not. So I mean, but they're going back, right?
But which part's going to go back? The parts that are going to go back is going to be the more refined light.
But what's drawing them back to the Peh D'AK if they're not missing anything?
Yeah, well, first of all, most of them, the hopper ones, are all missing. So that's right. So that's the Keter, the Chacham, and the Bina. The Kochav is all missing, and then Zun have lots of. They're fulfilled, or they're going to be fulfilled completely. But the other ones need to go back because they need to get perfection. So to get back there, that's what they need to do. Go back to the Peh D'AK. As long as they're going, everybody else is going to move. And everything's moving in tandem. It's like a train now. He's going to get more detail on this, and you're going to see more about what he's talking about. Let's see if it's in this parak. I don't remember. Or if it's going to be in the next parak. Okay, so where are you now? I got a little bit in the conversation.
Sorry.
Did you start number Aleph?
No, we're going to start. I'm starting to now in parak Aleph.
Okay, how about the blurb? Did you do the blurb?
No, not yet.
Okay, good.
Okay, Yisbayer she be'es aliyas hakeser lematzil will explain that when the keser returns to the matzil ha'elyon, einoi meir lemalchus bechinas yichida. It no longer lights up in the malchus the bechina of yichida. Rak bechinas reshimu. It's only a bechina of an impression. I think that's the title of the word reshimu. Was that right? An impression.
That's good. You're going to see this word reshimo a lot more. Leave something down, but yeah, impression is good. A stamp, right? Something good. A little bit of itself is what it comes out to be. Right.
So I think that the way in the light bar mushal, I think that what that means is that although the keser is no longer mayor, the bechinas yechida in the malchus, but it leaves like the light bulb or the fact that there was a light there behind.
Yeah, maybe it's a little hot still, or actually a reshimo is really an aspect. We're going to work on this now. It's really an aspect of the light itself, so it's not like a dim light. It's like just the same intensity of light, but small. Just an impression of it, but it's the real light.
Right.
Okay, we're going to see. There's going to be different kinds of lights coming up now, and that's what we're going to start tracking.
Okay. Aleph, let's do it. Peh D'AK, kikasher ola hakeser lamatzol, when the keser returns to the matzol through the Peh D'AK, oz v'oisei shiur behemshech hazman shehoya ola, in that time, or that during the period where it's going back into the Peh D'AK or the matzol, oz hamalchos nistalek mimenu bechinas yechida. The malchos loses its bechinas yechida, shehu or shehoya nimshach lo min hakeser, which is the light that was coming to it from keser, right? We said that as the bechinas came down, the bechinas, as the sfiros came out of the Peh D'AK, as the higher ones came out, they were lighting up the lower ones. So Malchus got its bechina of Yechida from Keser. So when Keser leaves, it loses that. When the Keser returns to the Matzil, Shehu Peh D'AK, also Achar of HaMalchus, V'omda B'Makim Clay HaYisod. So the light of Malchus goes up, and it stays or stands in the place of the Kalim of Yisod.
Right.
which we haven't really discussed
The
that.
Kli of Yesod. Well, there's a Kli there, right? So let's go through this a little bit, and let's see what comes out.
Right. So I remember this when I read it. He only says that the fact of that the Kalim were made later on, but I guess he's like jumping back and forth here.
Okay, could be.
So,
we'll see what you mean. What he means by this. So
I'm just going to read that sentence again. I just started from the light print again from Aleph. Shehu Peh D'AK, also Achrov HaMalchus V'amda B'makom Kli HaYesod. So the Malchus went back up and is in the place of the Kalim of Yesod. Kibul Makif Tachtoin D'Chayo, and it gets the lower Makif of Chayo, which is
right. Go ahead.
The one that's at Yesod.
Right. So so that's when it gets to Yesod. It's now closer to the Peh D'AK, and as a result of that, it's going to get more light. Okay, go ahead. This
happens after the Keter already went back. El Peh D'AK, it already returned to the Peh D'AK. So, Omnam Kasher HaKeser Hisbalales, when the Keter turns and goes back up, Ach Adayin Loy Ol Gamri, but it has not yet risen up completely. Oz Ba'isei Shah, at that moment, Nistalka B'chinas Ur HaPnimi D'Yechida Min Sfiras HaMalchus. And the Ur HaPnimi of Yechida, which is called Yechida, of the Sfiras HaMalchus, leaves. Kivan Shekol Giloi Ur Pnimi D'Yechida Ba'La Machmas Riboy Ha'ur Al-Yidei Yetzias HaKeser Min HaPeh. The whole reason why the Malchus had the Ur Pnimi of Yechida was as a result of the Keter coming out of the Peh D'AK. So now when the Keter turns around to go back towards the Peh D'AK, it loses that. When it turns to go back up to the Peh, it no longer, I guess, kind of like the direction the flashlight is pointing. It's pointing now back upwards.
Right, it's pointing the other direction. Good, very good.
And therefore, Bechinas Hayechida sheniskalso b'Malchus, the Bechin of Yechida that was in Malchus, eno niskalso be'es aliyas hakeser l'matzal. It no longer is revealed within Malchus. So that's it. It lost that Ur. Omnam, however, kisha hakeser misayim lales el mekomai b'shleimus, when it finishes going back up into the Peh D'AK, v'hamalchus ola b'shleimus el makom hayesod, and the Malchus goes also up a level, like you said, the train mushal. Everything is moving up a darga. So Oz nisgala b'malchus b'chinas hayechida kevarishayna. Now it gets back its b'china of yechida. Va'af nitaisef la ur makef d'chaya, and it also gets a new makef of chaya. Liyais shenis alsa madrega achas kroiva el hamatzal, because it's now a step closer to the matzal. So that's a brighter area, I guess, as to compared to where the Malchus was before. Just like when the Keter turns back to the Peh D'AK, the Malchus lost its b'china of Yechida. Kain nasa gam kain b'chol asiris yisoid hoid, etc. They all, as they're turning around, they're all losing their previous b'chinos. V'ofen shebeis aliyas hakeser nistalko mishar asiris hamalois shenitaisu lehem v'yitzias hakeser. Everything, it's not just, this effect is not just a Malchus-based effect. Really, all that Malchus provided or lit up in the lower spheres that are below it, all of that light turned around, like the flashlight pointing, it was pointing downwards to the lower areas, and now it turned around, so everything in the path of the flashlight kind of lost its chelik from that.
Yeah, good.
Ulechein nistalik mi zer anpin b'chinas or pnimi d'chayo, so zer anpin loses the or of chayo. Ume ima nistalik b'chinas or pnimi d'neshama. Ume abba nistalik b'chinas or pnimi d'ruach. So every one of the spheres lost a piece of light. Okay, base. He says there's a picture of Ayin B'Tavlois Shabasai Pakra. We'll just turn to the back for a second.
If you want, go ahead. Let me see if you know where it is. I'll show it also. It should be fairly clear that you're talking about the train. We're talking about the caboose is moving into the place of the second to last car. Everything's moving up.
right? So it's, I mean, they didn't number the pages, but it's the one that says Shar Akudim Perak Dalet, Tavla 1 and Tavla 2, which are side by side on the back, on the page in the back. So it has them all coming downwards. They're all in the right spot, and then when it goes up on Madriga, so everyone is back up a level.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, let's go on.
Yeah, that's what I imagine it to look like. Okay, base. The fisha kivan shakaser haya ilu mistalik, because the keser is going back up. Lehaisa kavana say lehayer ba. Its kavana no longer is to be mayor, that to light up that which is below it. The time stalkos ha'eres min hasfiris base alias hakeser. The reason why the lights are leaping when the keser goes back up. Hu kibisha shakeser pina lamala va'adayin le'ol gamri, when it turns around to go back up, but has not yet risen completely. Ein bertzainer lahashpia ba'isay eis l'tachtainin. Its thought, or its ratzain, it's not trying to be mashpia to the lower levels anymore. Ki megamasay ratzainai, because its desire and its will, v'hidavek b'matzilai, is to really go back to the matzil, to the Peh D'AK. L'chein, kol ma she'eshpia b'malchus b'shar sefirot, all that it gave to malchus and the other sefirot, nostalgic b'shas aliyasai l'mala, goes away when it goes back up. Kivan she've'es aliyas hakeser, because at the time when the keser goes up, everyone goes up one level. Everything goes up one step. Just like when the keser goes up, it no longer lights up to the spheres below it. When they all go up a level, none of them anymore are being mashpia to that which is below them, because they all turned around. Every single surah based on the areas that it brought after leaving the Peh D'AK. So by everything turning around, so all the ARI that had come out before, but that they were providing to the spheres underneath them, they all lost that.
Mm-hmm.
Gimel, okay. But there's this idea that the Rishimu, the impression or the remnant, is left behind.
Yeah, there's a phrase in the Sulam, he uses it all the time. He says the Ein Heder B'Ruchnius. So meaning that if something was there one time, it's always there. Now, what that means exactly, that sounds like the Rishimo idea, but I'm not sure what this, I don't know the Sulam that well, what he meant by that, but something similar. Go.
Okay. Gimel. So although everything went back upwards, the impression is left behind. What we can understand is even though the keser is going back to the Peh D'AK, and it turned its face from lighting up the spheres below it. Now the Peh D'AK is in between, so it's almost like he's talking like there's a barrier. Once something goes into the Peh D'AK, then it doesn't have as much of an influence on the things outside the Peh D'AK.
Okay.
Would you agree with that?
Okay, let's see.
Okay, but in a way that that which is lower cannot be makabel the from the things that's inside the Peh D'AK. Therefore, nistalko b'chinas hayichida min malchus, the b'china of yichida left malchus. Amnam ha'or lo nistalko mimenu l'gamri. It doesn't leave completely. El nishar ba rishimu. It leaves behind an impression. Kiv shekain hu kol davar shabekdusha shekasher mistalik mimenu ha'or. Every davar shabekdusha when the or leaves, adayin nishar reisha min ha'or. It remains behind an impression of that or.
Right.
Fascinating. Okay, Daled. What time is it?
You got 6 minutes.
Perfect.
Are you on the Vakash?
I just read the blurb.
Yeah. You're on the blurb. Yeah, you got to tell me. I need direction. Go ahead.
Sorry. So once the keser goes back up, it goes and it re-lights up that which is lower. Okay, Daled. Because Chaim hakeser his alim, is that what?
Let's have Vakash Chaim hakeser his alim, yeah, to become hidden.
to become hidden, v'saimo malchus lales ad yisaid, and the malchus went up the level to the yisaid. Oz chazar hakeser leher b'malchus be'etzem k'may b'tchila b'chinas yechida shaba. The keser, I guess, so to speak, like turns around now inside the Peh D'AK and is mayor to the malchus.
Okay.
So the tip explains v'kasher saim hakeser lales al Peh D'AK v'oz gam saim lales kosris madrega achas lemala mim kaimam harishain, that they all go up a madrega, like they all went up one madrega, but even shamalchus also el makim hayisaid v'chein kol asiris ol madrega achas, everybody went up one madrega. Oz chazar hakeser leheir b'malchus, the hakeser goes back and is mayor in malchus. V'chazar b'chinas hapnimi shel yechida el malchus, and it reclaims, I guess, or it relights up the pnimi, which is the yechida of malchus. Hey, ki achar she'olo hakeser b'matzel, after the keser goes up into the matzel, gam he also b'yisaid. It also goes up to the yisaid.
Right. So that's the next station.
Yeah. V'hoisa madrega achas kreva yeser el matzel, and now everything is one level closer to the matzel. V'hoisa mekabelas mimenu, v'shahoisa mekabelas b'tchila min hakeser. So that which malchus was getting originally from the keser, now it gets from being a step closer. The Inyan zeh, and this Inyan, sheyachzer laher b'malchus or hapnimi the yechida. This Inyan that it's reacquires the hapnimi of yechida, chazar rak achar shegomer hakeser likanis Peh D'AK, is only after the malchus goes back, finishes, I guess, returning to the Peh D'AK. Ki also malchus omedes b'madrega smucha yeser el Peh D'AK. Now the malchus is one level closer to the Peh D'AK, umekabelas or hayechida, and it gets the or hayechida hapnimis min hamatzel. V'hu oisa b'china shehoisa mekabelas min hakeser kishahoya hakeser b'chutz. When the keser was outside, so it was getting this from keser, but now that the keser is not there, the keser is inside the Peh D'AK, it gets it from the matzel itself. V'loy zu b'vad, I'm reading the brackets, elo shemikivan shekol asviris olub madrega achas neisefes, because not just the malchus went up a madrega, but really everything goes up one level. But Isa Ace at that time, gamni teset the malchus or makif rishain the chayo. Also, it gets its makif rishain the chayo, which we said, right? We said that as the malchus goes up the madregas, those two levels. So we said that it gets its iris of makifim.
So it gets the first makif as a result.
So it's really both at the same time. It's relighting in the
of Yechida B'nimi,
of Yechida of the Pnimi, and also the of makif at the same time.
Beautiful.
Now, I don't know if you said this, but I guess the way I'm understanding it is that it's probably at a higher madrega now because it's getting its hapnimi of yechida from the matzel itself instead of from the keser, which is almost like an intermediary or something.
Okay, I don't know. I just thinking it's just closer to the Peh D'AK. I don't know. Let's see. Or you said we have to think about that.
Right. I'm just kind of wondering if so almost like if a seer would prefer to get its from the Peh D'AK itself or from the keser. That's kind of my question.
Well, obviously, what about you? Would you, when you're praying, would you like to get to a higher level of consciousness?
I guess you want it from the source, right?
Yeah. That's only natural. But right. Here, I think there's two dimensions here. One is the dimension of the sefirot that's up above it, which came out of the Peh D'AK. It has some shefa that it's pouring onto it. And the other one is the distance between itself and the Peh D'AK. As it gets close to the Peh D'AK, the natural radiance is coming out of it. It'd be closer to that radiance.
Right. Okay. Let's see Vav. Let's see Vav. Okay. Vav, kol zman shaloi sayim hakeser lales, as long as the keser didn't finish going up, so I guess like when it was in motion, oz haya hakeser mafsik ben hamatzel ubeina. The keser is in between the matzel, the Peh D'AK, and the malchus. So that was the lowest time, so to speak, where malchus is missing the most is the time while keser is moving back upwards towards the Peh D'AK, because then it's being mafsik and it's not being mayor. So the light print of Vav, Aval Kol Zman Shel Yisayim HaKeser Lalois, the whole time that the Keser is not going up, mafsik Bazeh, Bein HaMatzel Uvein Shar HaSfiros Ad HaMalchus. It's in between. The Keser is moving. While it's moving, it's in between the Matzel and the rest of the Sfiros. So L'chein Mistalek Or HaYechidah Min HaMalchus. Therefore, it's missing. The Malchus is going to be missing its Or HaYechidah. But L'taimer, and don't say Nicha that it's good. Shah Keser Mafsik Bein HaMatzel L'Sfiros. Aval HaKeser Atzma Yor L'Sfiros Shel HaMatzel Mimenu. That even though the Keser is being mafsik, but still the Keser at that point could be mayor in the Sfiros HaTachtonos. So almost like the Keser is like doing two things at once. First of all, it's pointing its light in the wrong direction. It's pointing the light back up towards the Peh D'AK. It's in the direction of the Peh D'AK. That's where it's moving. And additionally, it's being mafsik in the Peh D'AK from being mayor to the lower Sfiros. So it's really doing two things, I guess, that are not good for the Malchus.
Beautiful. Okay, nice job. So
okay.
That's it. Your time is up. And you did a great job. Thank you so much, Kaya. Right.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much for your time, Rabbi.
All the best.